Hello, and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a podcast where we read about some Dungeons and Dragons and discuss how we might include it in our role-playing games. Yeah.
Incredible. I think we have to top ourselves ever since we've had Mark on. We're like, we need to bring it now. And so here we are.
Well, yeah, that was it. I think we had the best intro before and we thought nothing could beat it.
This is just a tribute, you know?
This is just a tribute. You've got to... No, I'm in a singing mood now. Because why would I be singing, Fiona? Why would we be singing today?
I don't know, Hamilton, my other co-host, so I don't know why we'd be singing today. But yes, we've got an interesting topic for us. We're going back into our classes. Obviously, with 2024 looming on the horizon, the new rule books, the new classes, and the UA all out for like classes and stuff. And I thought, rather than looking to the future, let's go back and just see if we can finish off all the other classes very quickly before it becomes obsolete. So we're going back and we're going to do a great class, one that I think is incredibly popular. I think people really love this class. The protagonist of the D&D movie on Remote Fees was this class. Today we're going to be looking at Bards.
Bards. And how actually prescient when we're talking about going back in the past. You know, Bards are, raconteurs of the tales of yore. And as such, why would we not use them as something to reflect upon the past of D&D?
Wow.
See, I'm trying to implement my bardic abilities in communication.
Indeed. Have you ever played a bard in D&D before we start?
I have played a D&D bard. I have played a College of Spirits bard who was a kobold in a one-shot for Live, Laugh, Lovecraft.
Aww.
And I was... can't remember his name. It was a very good name. It was a very koboldy name, but I played like a very creepy kobold who had the spirits talking to me, master, because I had like a master that we were all following, and I'd go, guidance, master, guidance, all the time. That's all I did.
Incredible.
Because that's all they do is they give guidance, and it's very useful.
I played one, I think, I called Cordelia Dragonheel, who wasn't a bard in the traditional sense. I flavored it as sort of someone doing their book tour and using their words rather than a musical instrument, using their words and reflections, but for whatever reason kept getting cancelled, and so often her pamphlets were apology notes and missives and stuff like that. Because that's the thing I want to just really make clear right from the beginning, is that bards don't necessarily have to be musical bards.
No, they don't.
I quite like the little introduction about the bard class, talking about this idea of words and music are not just vibrations in the air, but they're vocalizations with power all of their own. So it's this idea of this, you can create something as soon as you speak it into existence, whether it is through lyrics, whether it's with music, or whether it's just the power of your like personal speaking skills. And so that's the thing, is that it can, when you think bard, it doesn't have to be just tied to a musical instrument. Although, as you can see with some of the instruments, you can get like bagpipes, lute, harp. You can have a lot of fun with this sort of thing.
But the point is, it can be oratorial. I think there's probably out there on the DM's Guild someone who's done it script-based bard, like penned poetry or something like that, or even some sort of painting based. You could imagine like a brush in the air and you paint figurines or knives into existence, and you could work it. You could probably theme it that way, couldn't you?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, you get your little, almost like a Dorian Gray type thing in the air and stuff would be, oh, very cool.
Or I remember that Red Hot Chili Peppers video where they all did the light writing in the rooms. That's the only thing, I can't remember what the song was, and I can't probably find it quick enough. So that one.
Go look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, just reading out some more. So the greatest strength of bards is their sheer versatility. Many bards prefer to stick to the sidelines in combat, using their magic to inspire their allies and hinder their foes from a distance. So they're not up front. They'll probably be at the back, supporting allies, like bolstering them, empowering them, or reducing them, maybe, rather than head-on attacking things and damage.
I would say one of the most ultimate support classes out there, because unlike clerics and paladins clerics who mainly are there to heal you, I would say, as a general rule, their beneficial stuff is healing or sort of boosting AC, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
And that's same with paladins as well, as like, and managing curses and afflictions. But the thing that the bard does over and above is the ultimate adaptability, and that's taken on in all of these subclasses of the inspiration die, which becomes invaluable, because you do get guidance from clerics, and you do get that also from paladins, and other classes do, but it's only a D4, I think, maximum.
It's
guidance.
very low compared to
what a bard's one can be. The difference at level 15, where you've now got a D12 that you can add to any roll, so like a D32 in which to get rolls off for people in combat. And I think that it's when it's all down to how the luck of the roll, it's a massive game changer. And I think any party that doesn't have a rogue should have a bard. Well, I think you've got to have, because the rogue gets away with it by tricking their way out of it themselves and being very individualistic about it. You know, they get the free go at lots of things and the use of expertise to benefit themselves. But a bard kind of makes everyone an expert, gives everyone sort of those additional abilities. Like, it basically gives you uncanny dodge to a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got another D12 at some point, or even a D10 at 13th level to overcome things. So
absolutely.
At 10th even, sorry. So I think it's pretty cool.
And I think as well, like you said, depending on what kind of class you are, determines what you use that inspiration for, whether it is, like you said, a saving throw or an ability check. Some classes make it so that you can, put it to the damage of your attack, or using that against the foe so that they lose from their saving throws and ability checks as well. And then only one of the classes, I think, means that you can inspire yourself, because this is the thing, it's about you inspiring others and not using it on yourself, which I think is quite hard to take sometimes. You're like, I've inspired everyone, but what if someone should inspire me?
I think many DMs would let you get away with it to a certain extent. You've seen it quite a lot. Like, I've just given myself a bit of inspiration, and I'd let it happen. It's a really, as I said, versatile ability, and I think that's what makes them so powerful.
Yeah.
And, I think we've said this before when we talked briefly about bards, and Matt Mercer has said it about the Vox Machina campaign, that MVP was Scanlan, and he wanted Scanlan to be a bard. He wanted to have a bard because he wanted to prove that bards were one of the best classes out there, because before, his words, not mine, was that before, the bard was seen as a bit of a jokey secondary, you take it if you just want to be silly.
Yes.
But proven throughout that campaign that the abilities that you gain, the sort of magical adeptness that you have on top of the support skills, on top of the general expertise that you get from being an expertise class, is really, really strong. Like, you may not have the wealth of spells at your command like a wizard will, but you have the wealth accessibility to those spells. And if you choose correctly and you'll manage your game really well, it's be super powerful.
Yeah, I always remember that fight really early on in that first campaign of Vox Machina, where they were like, I'm going to cause a distraction. So they went to a big mansion by themselves and fought their way out using a number of spells. And it just was like falling forwards, upwards. Yeah. Like, things would just happen. You were just like, I can't believe it. It's
one of the best. I've watched that episode so many times. And they do repeat it in the video, but there's nothing in the TV show, but nothing compares to. I remember watching that and just being like,
how's he going to get out of that?
The only thing he had additional was he had a jug of fire breathing, which is what he helped. But he polymorphed himself into a triceratops. Yep. He was just like dashing in and out of cover. He was flying at some point. Bigby's hand just is
came
like...
out. Yeah, it was just spell after spell after spell. And again, this is the other thing as well. So not only is the bard magical, but like you was just saying, it's very expertise, so many skilled things. You can really hone into being a very specific character, or as one of the things is, I think it's was it jack of all trades. Again, that idea that you just have your hand to everything, that you, to a certain point, you'll always get a +1 in all of your skills at some in any chats, and you're just like, that's great.
Exactly, which is just amazing and that's why I think rogues are great, because of that benefit. But these have that, and the other things as well, just to mention, we'll get onto a lot of these other things, but the counter charm effects as well.
Yes,
charm effects are a real big killer in D&D. Like, they are overused and sometimes underrated, but they are very powerful, and they can really muck up a combat. The amount of times as a DM I've gone, utilized charm effects to manage the gameplay, to take someone out, take another. The action economy is always with the players as a general rule. I mean, generally, and so you've got to limit that. That's the best way to overcome it, is to take someone who's dealing big damage out. So getting that barbarian and putting them like either to best case out of the game, second best case, get them fighting their own players.
Things. Yeah, has happened several times to me, and I've gone, well, this is my life now.
Exactly.
But I will tell you, we had a bard in our level 20 campaign, counter charm every single time. We weren't frightened. It was great. Again, it takes their action. And it goes through, but then we had advantage on it, and it was so useful to have. And what I'd say as well, going back to your the bardic inspiration thing, there's a joke skit that's on XP level 3 to XP, the YouTube person. This idea of a bard going, "Oh, you also get this," and he goes, "I've already passed it, because you get to a point where maybe you don't need it, but you can use it, like you said, in all these other different ways. And I just think that clutch moment really makes the game. So I think not only, you got that bardic inspiration, you've got a whole wealth of spells which you can access to the point where you get, magical secrets. It gets to a point where you're like, okay, I've got it again. But it means you have access to so many different spells. And you can really choose and really flavor it. And it just makes it very unpredictable. It's like, what have you prepared for this fight?
You've got godlike spells. You get access to 9th level wizard spells.
Wish spells,
Wish spell is there available to, like game breaking, changing, on top of the fact that you get to be not the worst fighter out there, to be honest. No. Not the worst healer out there either, and also really adept at so many skills. It's kind of just, it's like, how did it, I mean, no wonder Matt was like, this is definitely a good class. If I was going to do a tier list of of classes, which I think would be a fun episode to do.
We should do
my
that,
top tier classes, Bard and Rogue are up there, because they really are so versatile. And I think from the beginning as well, that's the other thing. Like if you're a Bard, from level 1, you get the Bardic inspiration. From level 2, you've got Jack of all trades and Song of Rest. So by 2nd level,
that's a lot.
You're doing a load of cool stuff, and you're being really part of the team. Whilst if you're a fighter or you're just even a cleric, I mean, you're not doing a lot. At 2nd level, Song of Rest, you could do this at every short rest. Yeah. By spending 1 or more hit dice, but which you'd be doing anyway, but you're also just...
Yeah, you're just around. You're just giving... Yeah, so just to clarify, so for that, Song of Rest, beginning 2nd level, you can use soothing music or speaking to revitalize your wounded allies during a short rest. So again, a great role-play moment as well, if you want to do that. Any friendly creature who can hear your performance regain hit points at the end of the short rest by spending 1 more hit die. Each creature gains an extra d6 of hit points. The only thing I'd say on that, I just wanted to quickly check with you, is that do you roll the d6 and it applies to everyone, or does everyone individually roll the d6?
I think you'd roll the d6. I don't know. I think if you're hit dicing, I would say I would flavor it personally that in inspiration, you roll the inspiration because it's about how well inspired you are. In hit die, you're healing yourself. So I'd see it as like, how well are you inspired to heal yourself? So I think maybe individually would be best.
I think so too. I don't believe there is an official ruling on it. I think I've seen some DMs go, okay, it's just the bard that rolls, and then obviously they're like 1 to everyone. But I think I like it that it's a more personal thing.
But I think what's amazing about it is there's no because it is contained by the amount of hit dice you have, then there is a limit to it. But I think it's good that it doesn't go, oh, you can do it once a day, because what if someone doesn't need the hit dice, and then you have a short rest about later and someone did then use the hit dice, they can still gain benefit from it as well. So
absolutely. And then again, this will increase going up the levels as well. So by the level 17, it's a D12 as well. And you know me, I love my D12s. So I'm like, oh, I could get 12 hit points back on top of any other hit dice I'm rolling. I love it. But before we go on to looking in deep things of the class features, I just wanted to, because I always quite like this with the player's handbook, it gives you some questions to think about when creating the backstory to bards. I just thought I'd just read them out. So first of all, it talks about this idea that bards thrive on stories and storytelling, whether or not these stories are true or not, which I absolutely love that idea, that you are being inspired to go on an adventure because you've heard this story and it may be completely false. Maybe you're following an idol or something and it turns out they're not who they say they are.
I mean, you retell the story of Lord of the Rings. I mean, that's not true, but that would inspire me, Samwise carrying Frodo up Mount Doom, and if someone relived that story to me, I would be like, hell yeah, let's do this. So,
let's do it. So I like it. So it says here that your character's background and motivations are not as important as the stories that he or she tells about them. Perhaps you had a secure and mundane childhood. There's no good story to be told about that, so you might paint yourself as an orphan raised by a hag in a dismal swamp. Your childhood might be worthy of a story. Some bards acquire their magic music through extraordinary means, including inspiration of fae or other supernatural creatures. So I just like that idea that you could just be a really normal person and you've completely lied about it.
So it makes you think of Frank. Have you seen the movie Frank?
I have seen the movie Frank.
And you know how he assumes that the main character, Frank, is this tortured, troubled soul because he's got this like ridiculously deep thought process. The music he makes is really like esoteric, and he's really struggling with some mental health issues. And so Donald Gleason's character thinks that Michael Fassbender's character has got this really troubled past. However, because he makes, and he sort of says that's why he makes these great music, and it's seen as like his way of overcoming the fact that he's not a great artist himself because he had this perfect upbringing. But when he then goes and meets Michael Fassbender's parents, they're like these really normal people, really lovely people. And it's just because he's just this incredible talent that he has this ability. And so I don't know. Sorry, I just thought it was interesting because it just reminded me of that when I was reading.
And you could have that moment later on where, you know, because I'm always a big fan of introducing NPCs related to your character's backstory. So you do meet the parents, or the opposite way around. They are related to a really famous adventurer or musician, and they're like, oh, that's just Uncle Jeff. What's, you know, like, oh, okay. Yeah, whatever, Uncle Jeff. It's a bit weird. Of course, like, it's like, this is the number one, I don't know, bard and all the Faerun and all that sort of thing. I just think it's a cool way to play with it, which I hadn't really considered before. Some other questions could be, did you serve an apprenticeship studying under a master, following a more experienced bard before you were ready to strike out on your own? Or did you attend an actual college where you studied bardic lore and practiced your musical magic? Perhaps you were a young runaway or orphan befriended by a wandering bard who became your mentor. Or perhaps you might have been a spoilt, noble child tutored by a master. And then finally, perhaps you stumbled into the clutches of a hag, making a bargain for a musical gift in addition to your life and freedom, but at what cost?
Dun, dun, dun.
How, like, all those things, I'm like, great. Oh, yes. And they're only, again, I know that I said it's every single time we do a class. The 2 lines that I've gone, I want to play that character. Instantly, I'm like, spoiled noble child, tick, I can do that one. But like the hag ideas, I somehow managed to make it out. And then that's the thing, you only need that line. You don't have to fill in too much backstory. But again, as soon as you meet the hag again, or if it comes up in play, you can just really just bounce off that sort of that launch pad essentially. So yeah, I was like, all these things really, really cool. So again, just going back to that whole point of like, you don't have to be, I play music, I'm in a band, which maybe sometimes people just associate that because of the musical instruments. You can have any kind of backstory to play a bard.
I mean, you just think of famous musicians yourself, and you can think of some really like great other, like, you know, I think of Jeff Buckley, whose father was Tim Buckley, and you know, even in the songs, I think it's well known that he was always sort of like, his father was very aloof and was off, you know, traveling, never really saw him. I think the relationship with the mother was very great. So there's this whole, I mean, you could even be inspired by true events of this. Your father was an ancient bard who went off and never saw again, so you want to follow in your footsteps as this wide-eyed adventurer.
Or even if you're doing one of those things we've talked about before, like Oops, All Bards, like you're being a reunion for, like, I don't know, Backstreet Boys or anything, NSYNC, I'm coming back, you know, all that sort of thing, and just like go from then. Or Spice Girls is the other one I was thinking of. So having different flavors of bard as well for a reason for you all together, like the reunion tour, all that sort of thing.
But I'm now thinking of like these like rockabilly, like you know, the all Rolling Stones sort of like completely pickled themselves sort of bards on a like reunion tour.
Yeah, you could have all these interesting characters come together to be a super group.
Yes, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Battle of the Bands. All these ideas that you can have.
If you want to see a Battle of the Bands, I know there's one on the internet.
I hear there is. Let's go quickly then into the main bardic features. So what we'll do in this episode, we're going to look at the main features, and then in the next episode, we're going to look at all the colleges as well, because there's 9 in total of the subclasses, which is good, and they're all different types.
Some of the most, I think, to be honest, and like it's very well loved.
I assume there'll be more, to be honest with you, but maybe that's just because every time we come to this, I'm always like, oh god, there's so many I have to read. But this was a breeze.
But every subclass only really has like an intro bit and then 3 abilities. It's like it's not
hard
as a subclass to get into. That's the other thing. If you're someone out there, it's like, I want to do a subclass.
Yes,
I would recommend a bard, because actually you've only got to write 4 paragraphs of stuff.
4 paragraphs of things,
yeah, and it's really not a lot, and there's so much flavor to have because of all the things we've said. So I recommend it as a good intro.
And I'd say as well, compared to other classes that we've looked at, it feels like looking at even at the base class without any subclasses. It feels like a very solid structure. If a little bit later in the levels, a little bit boring, is the only thing I'd say. But I mean, it does the job.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to do it, give me a new level 20 feature, but we'll get on to that.
We'll get on to that. So just to cover all the basics, so the hit die is 1d8, all very good. Proficiencies, light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords, all sort of melee stuff. Then you also have 3 musical instruments of your choice for tools. And again, I know there's some rules in, I think it's Xanathar's, or maybe it's Tasha's, where you could just change a tool proficiency for something else, so it doesn't have to be a musical instrument. It could be some other kind of tool, I'm sure. Saving throws are dexterity and charisma, and then skills, choose any 3. And this is going to become a big thing about Bards, is that it gets to a point where you can really customize this. I think before the UA, this is the most customizable thing. Because before, obviously, we had charisma, whilst overall is going to be your main modifier for the Bards. The fact you could be like, I could be skilled at, yes, I'm good at animal handling. What of it?
Yeah. Snake charmer.
Yeah, snake charmer. You can run dogs quickly. I don't know. Or to me, the owl bear. I don't know, but it's very.
I mean, a sheepdog. Sheepdog trialer, come by.
Incredible.
That is bardic inspiration if I've ever seen it, to be honest.
It's a mixture of maybe like the ranger or that whatever druid that is with the animal spirits. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, again, I think it'll be a fun one to multi-class with as well if you wanted to try into the multi-class stuff. And equipment as well, nothing too exciting, rapier or a longsword or a simple weapon as your main weapon.
Diplomat's pack.
Yes, interesting. Again, it makes sense in terms of being a public speaker and stuff, and then entertainment's pack, and then it goes a lute or any other magical instrument. Again, it's more for flavor than anything else. And then leather armor and dagger. Straightforward, easy enough on that front.
Am I right in someone's made the sort of content creator bard? Am I right in believing there is a content creator bard?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think there is. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, they're just social media. They have some sort of special device that they can record their thoughts on in 280 characters.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. I love it. Only talking emojis and GIFs and memes.
Oh, yeah. Any sort of slang that both you and I would have no idea what is being said. That's their own thieves' cant as some sort of bardic language.
Yeah, I like it. Bard cant. I like it. Cool.
All right, so level 1, we get obviously spell casting, 2 cantrips of your choice from the bard list, and obviously that goes up all the way up to 4 cantrips if you go all the way. Spell slots, looking at the spell slots, you get so many. In total, by the time you get to level 20, just looking at the list, up to 22 spells.
Yeah, including, as we said, 1 9th level spell.
1 9th level spell, 1 8th level spell, and that's high. And there's only a limited number of those. I mean, I know we mentioned Wish before, but it's one of those things where you have to really pick those ones, because once you've used
you get your 9th level spell at 17th level, so you do get 1, 2, 3 choice chances to edit that. Do you know what I mean? Because you can always change. You can always gain once you've gained all the spells, and you can just gain. You can just change your spell. So you've got three chances to give that a go. So you can edit it, but you get things like invulnerability at 9th level, which is immune to all damage for 10 minutes.
So cool.
It's fucking cool, right? Nope, I'm immune to that.
You just have your Mario Kart,
but for 10 minutes. Yeah. How annoying is that? That is what combat goes on for more than 100 rounds.
A scary one, let me tell you.
Yeah, very scary. Mass polymorph, meteor swarm, blade of destruction, which is disaster, which is hilarious because if you get a crit on that, as 12d12 force damage.
Oh my word!
True resurrection, weird. I forget what weird is actually.
Weird. Yeah, we've talked about weird before.
Oh, it's the big. Yeah, it's the mass. It's a mass fear based thing. Lasts for a minute. Everyone gets psychic damage, and it's 40-10 psychic damage, and is sort of thrown into their deepest fears. Power word heal, psychic scream. Power word kill.
I was going to say power word kill is the big one. It's terrifying.
But true polymorph as well. Just done. And mass polymorph. I mean, these are kick-ass and wish, as we've already mentioned, but these are kick-ass spells. True resurrection. You're a bard. You play music, but someone died a month ago. Fine. I
am a god.
Yeah, it's just rock me like a hurricane to come up back alive again. No longer than 200 years. And died for any reason except old age. So like anyone who's just died for the last 200 years by an accident, I am the true resurrector. Just like fecking heck. This is just you play music.
There's also time stop as well, which we saw in the D&D movie. A cracking spell. I absolutely really like that one. Meteor Storm, spell. As you said. So even though there's only a small selection of stuff, there's a lot to choose from damage to astral projection to buffing to all that sort of thing. So it's a lot of fun.
You're not a wizard, because a wizard could have technically access to all of these spells if they so wished. Yes. But you're not as glass cannony. You are literally an iron cannon. Yeah. I don't know.
You're like, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me. Next up, you on level 1 as well, you get a bardic inspiration, which we've talked about. You use a bonus action on your turn to choose a creature other than yourself within 60 feet of you who can hear you, and the creature gains 1 bardic inspiration die, a d6. So once within the next 10 minutes, they can roll the die and add the number to one ability check, an attack roll, or saving throw that it makes. It can wait till after the d20 has rolled before deciding to use it, but not before the DM decides whether the roll is success or failure. Because that's always a good choice, because you roll it and you're like, it's 15. And then I'm like,
I always tell them what the DC is, so it's too...
See, no, I don't. I keep quiet, because otherwise they think they're facing stuff that's really tough, and I'm just there going, you've absolutely just annihilated it.
If I'm at home, I will do it your way. Normally, because I'm doing something live, I want the tension of the, or for recorded.
That's
so it's
different.
like, you need DC 15, they go, 13. Well, we've got an inspiration die. Okay, quick. What do we need? So, need 2. We just need a 2. We just need a 2. And then they roll it and go, it's 3. Yay!
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's for entertainment purposes. I think because often for me, I'm just like going, and because I'm trying to work out like what to do, and I go, I'm going to roll it. I'm like, okay. Like I just panic as a result. But yeah, I think I think that's quite cool for entertainment.
No, it's good as well, because like you could be like, they've already beaten it, but could I bluff them into using it?
Yeah, I'm just like going like, I mean, it's already dead, but no, of course not.
No, you're so evil.
I'm not so evil. They just don't let me speak. No, I'm kidding. You regain all the uses after you finish a long rest. You can have it equal to your charisma modifier. So obviously, ideally, the charisma is the main stat you would use for this class. And then obviously, as we said, it goes up to at least a D8 at 5th level, which is very soon, actually, as soon as you get it. And then D10 at 10th level, and then a D12 at 15th level.
I feel it should be a D20 at 20th level. Personally,
the range of it though is vast. I wondered because there is something such as a D16, so I wondered maybe that. But I don't. I agree. It's not as fun as a D20, which feels like definite.
We're going to get to the level 20, but I just think you basically give everyone advantage is basically what you're doing, and I think.
I mean, it's understandable.
People do that a lot of the time, but not even that. It's not only giving them advantage; you're giving them not even that. It's more than that. It's like. We need to hit something that's got an AC of 26 or 30. There are things with very high AC, so I think that's fair.
So level 2, as you said, Song of Rest. Beginning at level 2, you can use soothing music or oration to help revitalize wounded allies during a short rest. Anyone that can perform, as we said, spending 1 hit dice can also regain a 1d6 hit points, and then this increases up D8 at 9th level, a D10 at 13th level, and a D12 at 17th level. So it's a nice comparison with that Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, it's a little bit out. Yeah,
a little bit out. So it's not like you get all the ones on the same level.
Jack of all trades as well. You just at 2nd level, half your proficiency bonus rounded down on any ability check that you don't already have proficiency on. So that's
instantly a +1 to all your checks. Yeah. All your stats just now, and so all the way up to 6 total, right? So you get a +3 by the end on all your checks.
Just ridiculous. I
love it. You're just so skilled. You just pick up something and you've already worked out what it is.
Bard College at 3rd level, so this is where you start to choose your subclass, and we'll talk about those later. But that is chosen at 3rd, and then you get something else at 6th and 14th from that, and then expertise at 3rd level, which is choose 2 of your skill proficiencies. And your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make. So that could go up to +12.
You're like, I'm just really good at animal handling. I'm just really good at deception, or I'm just really good at athletics. You're just suddenly very beefy all of a sudden as you're like playing the lute. You're like,
just thinking of like the singer of Black Flag. What's his name? I've got his book up here somewhere. Or like Danzig. Those sorts of people, like big, beefy sort of Metal guys, yeah.
Level 4, ability score improvement.
Henry Rollins. Sorry, that is the singer
okay.
Black Rat Flag. There you go.
Look at your little like file effects or whatever.
Yeah. Rolodex, yeah.
Rolodex, that's the word I'm looking for.
I love file effects. I miss those. The little inserts.
Ability score improvement, level 4. Again, we've seen this before. Again, you'll get this. Basically, you can improve one ability by 2 or 2 abilities by 1 or take a feat. And you can do this again at 8th, 12th, 16th and 19th level. Font of Inspiration is level 5. You regain all your expended uses of Bardic Inspiration when you finish a short and long rest.
So badass. That's so badass.
God. Yeah, you're
I mean, like, at 5th level as well, you're like, because at first you're like, when you finish a long rest, only 6 maximum, maybe. You're at that level, only like 2, maybe. 2.
Yeah.
And then you're like, now I get 2 every time I short rest.
Yeah,
then
I'm just going to take a quick nap before we perform,
nap.
you know.
Whilst I'm healing you all.
Yes.
I'll also just get those back.
Yeah, my snores make you feel a little bit calmer. You heal a bit.
It's just like white noise.
Level 6, we've talked about this, counter charm. You gain the ability to use musical notes or words of power to disrupt mind-influencing effects. As an action, you start a performance that lasts to the end of your next turn.
6 seconds.
Yeah, so maybe you're just doing like a cool rap, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
You and any friendly creatures within 30 feet of you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed, which at level 6, that's pretty good.
Actually, I know exactly what it is, isn't it? It's shot to the heart, and you're to blame, darling. You need love, a bad name, and that's it. That's all you do, and then
stay alive, stay alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Our bard, when he used to inspire us, he would say lyrics that he'd written on the bus, like from popular songs, but obviously put our names to it. And so yeah, I'm always a big fan of like if you've got the capacity to do it and you're in the brain space, that's also really fun.
Ramji, when he played with me, did a bard that always misremembered lyrics, which was amazing because he found there's a website called Kiss This Guy because it's the I'm going to kiss the sky from the Purple Haze.
Yes, yeah.
While I kiss the sky, but people think using while I kiss this guy. And so it has loads of like misheard lyrics on that. And he just used that for every time he did inspiration. And it was hilarious because some of them are wild. They really are.
I'm going to check that out after. That sounds really fun.
Check out, yeah.
Then at level 10, you've also got expertise again. Now, here's my question. So it's the same thing as before. You choose 2 of your skill proficiencies, and it's bonus for any ability trait that you use. Does it have to be the same ones as your level 3? Because it says choose 2 more of your skill proficiencies. So so it has to be 2 other ones than you have picked previously, if you see what I mean. If you picked athletics and say acrobatics at level 3 to be a skill expert,
I think you can choose them again. I think you can choose
because you were just suddenly really good at I don't know, sleight of hand checks or like I keep going back to animal handling. History checks would be the other one, perhaps.
Because you only have 3 proficiencies.
Yes, you have. When you start, you could choose any skills.
Do you get any when you choose a college?
Some of them you do. Some of them you do.
So I guess then, so maybe you don't. So with that, then you've got the. You must have to be able to, because you could choose 2. You've only got 3. The next time you get to choose 2, you just have to double one of them.
You might also get ones from your background as well. That's the other thing as well.
Oh, true. Of course, yeah. And your species as well. So that's fair. So
but again, you don't. That's the thing. So that's what it sounds like though. You could just be really good at 2 things, and everything else you're like, I'm better than average.
It would say this can't stack if it couldn't. So
that's what I would think as well.
Yeah.
But that's what the other thing. And then you have magical sequence, which is the thing that keeps going again and again. So you get it at 10th level, 14th level, and 18th level. So this is the idea that you have plundered magical knowledge from a wide spectrum of disciplines. So choose 2 spells from any class, including the Bard class. It must be at a level you can cast or a cantrip.
Yeah.
These count as Bard spells for you and are included in the number of known spells column, and you can learn 2 additional spells at each one. So in total, you can get up to 6 spells that aren't part of the Bard class.
And also, when you're at level 18, that does include 9th level spells, which means you can choose technically 3 9th level spells as a Bard because of this feature. Obviously, you don't have to. You could choose any other spell, but you could, in theory, be 3 9th level spells could be in your locker.
And you could just be like, which one should I use? Which one today?
Exactly. That's insane, though, right?
That is insane. I guess if you were doing if you're making a Bard for like a level 20 battle royale, that's probably what you'd have in your arsenal.
But that's
right?
Because I know Scanlan had True Polymorph and had Wish.
Wish.
So He must have used that ability to. I don't know if he had a third one I can't think of that he used, but that was. I know he definitely had true polymorph because I remember him getting very into changing himself into things, kind of hilariously.
Well, he had that whole thing about in that big final fight. He was like, "I have to use this 9th level swap." He was going to try to hold it on for Wish because at the end of the fight, Liam's character was going to die.
Yeah, and he wanted to use it, and that sadness.
If you watched it, I would highly recommend if folks just type in like Sam tries to save Liam.
When you see there's a really good, someone's done like a TikTok short or like a reel of it, and they just literally zoom in on their faces, and you see Sam turn to Liam and just go, "I'm sorry." And
I know, and he's just crying, and Liam's like, "It's okay, it's okay." Know, and it's like they're holding his arm, and he's like, "I can't do it." Like, I'm tearing up just thinking about it because it's just so powerful. Because
that first season, oh my gosh! If we see them at MCM, we're just gonna
we're gonna be like, "Hello." And then level 20, you think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a brilliant, superior inspiration. At level 20, when you roll initiative and have no uses of bardic inspiration left, you regain 1 use. At least gives them all back.
That is like the shit.
It's so rubbish.
Only if you have run out. Do you get 1 as a level 20? You're going to be fighting against Vecna. You know what, guys? Don't worry. I've got 1 more. Oh shit! That's all what the fuck?
It's rubbish.
I want to show one thing then from what we're going to talk about next week, but I just think we need to just point out here because I think we talked a lot about Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer's College of Tragedy, which is in the partnered content, which is the
Tal'Dorei Reborn. Yes,
their level 14 special subclass is Nimbus of Pathos, which is you can touch a willing creature, which I think, again, this fits so much thematically because it's not about you, it's about what you do to other people, it's about supporting others, but it's OP, and it should be, and I think for 14th level it's pretty overpowered, but it's great. Choose a willing creature as an action, and you empower it with tragic heroism for 1 minute. So it's 10 rounds of combat. The creature is surrounded by mournful music and ghostly singing, granting it the following benefits and drawbacks. So there are some drawbacks, but this creature has a +4 bonus to AC. Boom. That's your wizard with some armor.
Yeah.
Has advantage on attack rolls and saving throws.
Yeah.
That's your wizard save from charm effects. That's that. When the creature hits a target with a weapon attack or spell attack, the target takes an additional 1d10 radiant damage.
So good.
Your barbarian's already got ridiculous AC. No one's going to hit that barbarian. And they're going to have advantage on attack rolls, which means you can, if you're that barbarian who's got the 19s, that's chasing crits. And any weapon attack against the creature scores a critical hit on a roll of 18 to 20, which is the only downside. But with an AC of +4, I know of some pallies that still a critical hit wouldn't hit even, so my rule of that is if you have a critical hit, but it doesn't beat the AC, it doesn't hit.
And then on top of that, the final bit about it is when the effect ends, the creature immediately drops to 0 hit points and is dying.
Yes.
So that it's pretty much the Red Dead Redemption, I'm coming out guns blazing, it's your swan song moment, and you hit the dirt, and hopefully there is someone there to bring you up. But what a cool...
But if this is level 14, I think for level 20, you could do all of that without the dying bit. Do you know what I mean? Because the dying bit is great, gives it that sort of strength. But I think at that level, you should just be able to go, I would say, for the amount of inspiration points, you can just do this for your inspiration. You could choose maybe one of these effects in addition to your inspiration die, which is you can give +4 AC to anyone for the next minute, or you can give them advantage on all attack throws and saving throws for the next minute. They do 1d10 radiant damage, or maybe they can crit on an 18 to 20 would be another way. Like really, you're inspiring them, but not with additional dice. You're inspiring them with magical ability to gain AC somehow. You're encapsulating them with the sort of magical energy, and I think that's a level 20, not an additional dice if you've not got any.
It's such a letdown, and it's interesting with the UA stuff happening just now. They keep going back and forth about it, and then the epic boons and all that sort of thing.
I literally just don't get it. I look at things like Morkborg, which I've just written some stuff for. I'm looking at things for looking at lots of Warhammer stuff. Warhammer is the most unbalanced game in the world, right? And you go back in time, it's even more. And but it was. And when I was listening to people talking about like the history of Warhammer, it's just like talking to the people that made it was like, we want to make this cool, and when you're writing the book for the different characters that they've got, it's like, well, we just piled on cooler shit because we love them. And it's like, I don't know why wizards are freaking out like, oh, it can't be too good, because who's going to get angry? The only person who's going to get angry is the one person who's like, oh, well, it unbalances the game. At level 20? You're joking.
Yeah, it's about being cool with what's going on. Like, I guess for DMs, you're like, we want to make it easy for people to run the game. But ultimately, I say this as someone who really struggles with combat as well. It's got a lot better thanks to the D&D Beyond encounter builder. I was going to do a massive shout out for that because that's been incredibly helpful. For me, I'm just like, okay, I'll just have to add more of these things and it's fine. Like, if I want to make it epic, I can make it epic. And that's fine. That's up to me. And I'm not, I just want to give the players enough to be like, they're not just fighting things and it's just down because they want to use those cool abilities. They've earned them. So I'm always a fan of that. The one thing I want to talk about before we finish is there's obviously some optional class features that are in Tasha's that may come into the UA later on. We don't know because we've not really looked at it. We've got additional bard spells, which is level 1.
Just on that, it just gives you more spells at all levels that you have access to that are just in the bard list rather than having to go to other lists.
Absolutely. And the versatility stuff is just like replacing skills and stuff like that, which is quite nice, again, just to give you that flexibility in the customization. But I wanted to really talk about was magical inspiration, which is a 2nd level bard feature. A creature that has bardic inspiration die from you casts a spell that restores hit points or deals damage. That creature can roll that die and choose a target affected by that spell. Add the number rolled as a bonus to the hit points regained or damage dealt. It is then lost as a result. So that's quite cool.
I think that makes it, again, so much more versatile.
Rather than just like, I choose it to hit, it is actually on, you gain some more hit points to my friend.
I just see that as just you constantly weaving your magic into their spell. And I think that's great. I don't see what I would use that.
Yeah, I would put that in as again, it's one thing I would remind people that you can do this as well. Sometimes it's a little, I forget all the things I can do, but I just thought that's such a nice little tweak already for the main class. So I just thought I wanted to mention that there. And that hopefully that will become in the actual, the new version.
UA.
Just to make it, because it's currently a bonus feature in Tasha's. So there you go.
100%.
But unfortunately, we've run out of time to talk about all the other stuff, so we'll do that in the next episode.
It's because we've waxed lyrical about the Bards. That's the thing, isn't it?
Inspiration, bardic inspiration for you. Hamilton, very quickly, is there anything you'd like to plug? Is there anything that's upcoming? Like, what's the plan?
Well, we've got MCM coming up in just over a week when this comes out. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Soon. Soon. And I've been making something very exciting. We're doing a Morkborg cross X Demon Slayer live show, and I have made, I can say this now, and it's getting printed as we speak, a series of how to make a Demon Slayer. You can choose and make your own Demon Slayer for Morkborg. I've obviously had to change some of it to fit with the world and realm of Morkborg, and obviously for legal reasons to make it not use exactly the same things. But if you watched Demon Slayer and you've played Morkborg, I will be releasing on my itch. You can probably find Arcane Visions, I think I am, on itch, or Hamilton's DM. There'll be in the show notes, and there'll be a link maybe in
the show notes. Yep.
Yeah, and you can pick that up if you are excited doing that, and there will be physical copies to buy if you want to at the thing, and free ones I'm going to be giving out the show. So if you come to the show and you are nice to me, I'll give you one.
If you're nice to me.
If you're nice to me. And then obviously there's more Necromunda stuff. I was writing some massive amounts of gang lore for my gang lore series, and this like doing history of all the different gangs, and I'm doing the Eschers at the moment, and hoping that I can record that tomorrow evening so that can be out either this week, or I might have a week off and then wait till next week to do it, because it's a bit of a beast, because there's so much cool stuff. They've got some talk about like bardic stories to extol on people. These are full of them. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Enough about me. Where are you with your life, Fiona?
Whoa. Well, hello, my name's Fiona. I run What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. As always, it's going very well. Episodes are going out. Got a few interviews scheduled up, which is always fun. Really cool interview that's just happened with Charlie Menzies, which was very good. Yes. Yeah. So if you're still listening in October 2023, Don't Play This Game is out on Kickstarter, which has absolutely smashed through all of their goals. Has it? I haven't looked at it yet. It's not a Hamilton-friendly game, I'd be honest. No. A solo horror legacy RPG. So if you're into those found footage sort of things like I am, go check that out. Yeah, we had a really cool interview with Charlie Mendez, who is part of Parable Games, who wrote stuff like Shiver, which is all good. But the other thing is, obviously, I'm at MCM. I'll be part of not only the Morkborg Demon Slayer collab game, but also the Dragon's Duel game.
Oh, yes. Sorry, there's a Dragon's Duel game.
I know your face was like, yes, Dragon's Duel on the Friday. And there's another game which is like Rising Stars Tabletop RPG, which I will also be there for.
Who's GMing that one, by the way?
That one is going to be Liv from Dicebreaker, Liv Kennedy from Dicebreaker. We've got all sorts of really cool people who are going to be part of the things that are basically up and coming in the tabletop community. And we're going to be playing a game of Sexy Battle Wizards, which is by Grant Howard, a nice little cool one shot. I need to think of a cool idea.
Sexy Battle Wizard.
Well, I'm going to come up with a Sexy Battle Wizard that is also is like, oh, I want to listen to more of her stuff, rather than just like, what a weirdo.
I think combine the two and you have perfect Fiona, to be honest. What a weirdo, but I want more.
I want more, yes. So if that's your niche, come talk to me at MCM.
I'm joking.
But I think that's it for now.
Can I have a bardic ending to this song? Which is that I figured out the other day that the sign-off that we say on this show is a lyric from a song by Pearl Jam when they wrote the song for Kurt Cobain that they did after Kurt Cobain's sad passing on the album No Code. It's called Off He Goes. And in it, he literally says he's on a motorbike and he keeps getting away much too fast. And he says, see you on the flip side. Da, da, da,
wow.
Da, da, da. So there's a very bardic end to this episode for you.
That is incredible. Oh, well, thank you so much. That's awesome. What a great the more we know. So with all that out of the way, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you
on the flip
side.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.